Hey, Flo here. So today is going to be a big mess of a stream. A boring stream. Because I'm going to do bookbinding and I don't know, it's going to take me a long time to figure out where I'm at with this stuff. I have a huge stack of books on my table right here, but I don't know what I'm going to work on. I need to do sort of a quick inventory of what I have and figure it out after that. Good old Earthworm Jim music. Okay, so I think I can probably just take this whole stack off the top here because I'm not going to do these. I try to join as much as I can. Again, noise. Well, I don't encourage it because I'm extremely boring, but I do appreciate the company from time to time. Alright, that stack is not what I'm working on. So I'm looking for books that I have stuff kind of halfway done on already. Well, I mean, that's kind of vague, but I'm looking for books that I have, like, the boards already done for, specifically. And it looks like I didn't really mark these very well. I also forgot to turn my light on. Okay, now I can see what I'm doing. I don't see any markings on this. It's, oh, there it is. Looks like you do Twitch and YouTube now. Yep, pretty much do everything. Okay, so this one, I have all three pieces. That's kind of what I'm looking for, is books that I have all three cover pieces. So that's one I can work on. Let's see what we got here. So this is Zechariah, I don't know. Okay, I've got all three there. I'm guessing this is a match here, but I don't actually know. It's the same size, and usually if it's the same size, it's the same book, because every book is pretty much totally different size. I never actually checked my camera. I should do that real quick. Probably have up a little higher than I do for my sketchbook streams. Let's see, I need to have it a little bit more toward the edge because I tend to have my hands really close to the edge of the table, so I'll just do this. I remember I just did DLive because you didn't like Twitch or YouTube. Yeah, I know. I still don't necessarily like any platform. Honestly, when back when I first met you, DLive was pretty cool, but DLive is kind of gone to the crapper as far as they don't have the same like family community they used to have. They kind of sabotaged themselves. They had a lot of really stupid decisions that they made, which sent most of the cool streamers, like, they're all gone now. Not to say that there's no cool streamers, but what I mean is there's very few people that actually stayed there because of how foolish the decisions they made were. But so after that happened, I just decided there is no great platform anymore, so I'm just going to stream everywhere. So that's kind of what changed there. So I stream everywhere except for like social media platforms, because I don't like social media platforms. But yeah, everywhere else, it's kind of dying. It's basically dead already. I don't know how they pay their bills, to be honest. But I mean, I'm glad they're still around, to be honest. I don't wish them any ill will, but yeah, they've made some really bad mistakes over the years. So, but as long as there's still people streaming it and enjoying it, then, you know, whatever, it doesn't matter. I don't really do very well on any platform. I don't have a lot of viewers, so that's part of the reason I stream everywhere, is I'm more likely to have somebody drop by the stream if I'm on multiple platforms. Okay, so now I have to find what matches up with these. I need to get the names visible. Hopefully I can find these, at least some of these books, or one of these books anyway. Yo, thanks for the lemon. Yeah, I honestly wish there was some way that DLive could like bring back the old days, because it really was an amazing platform back in the day, but probably what they'd have to do, like they'd have to just start almost all over or something, because too many people got hurt during their bad decision years, and so I don't think any of those people are going to come back. They'd have to somehow attract a whole different crowd, and it just seems unlikely, but who knows? Who knows? Anything's possible, I guess, but I would imagine it's probably operating at a loss, but what do I know? I think most streaming platforms don't make money anymore, if they ever did. Like, I've seen so many platforms come and go. Okay, let's see. If I find one book that I find all the pieces, I'll just start working on it. I'm looking for a book that has a ribbon on it, so let me focus on those. I don't know, TikTok is weird. I would stream on TikTok, but they have a lot of weird requirements. I think, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if TikTok is just outright spyware, like, just like, you know, the US government's trying to shut it down because of that. And I think it's probably a valid concern, just because it's operated out of China and has so much influence in our culture. And China is literally probably the #1 enemy of the United States. So there's probably good reasons why they're concerned, and I'm not too worried about that. The problem is they require you to install software on your computer in order to stream there, which pretty much no other platform does. That's kind of a red flag, first of all. Second of all, I am not on Windows, and the software is only available for Windows, so even if I wanted to, I couldn't stream there. I would probably do it if there was a way to do it on Linux, but there is no way to do it on Linux that I'm aware of. And I don't. Actually, I have two criteria. If there was a way to do it on Linux and without installing any software, I would probably do it. But I'm not aware of any way to do that. Oh, cool. So I found all the pieces for these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 books, so I can just pick one at random and put the rest of them in a pile. I probably won't even finish one book. It takes so stupid long to make these things that I'll just start working on one of them and see how far I can get today. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why TikTok requires you to install software. I think technically I could, well, okay, in theory I should be able to install the TikTok app and just stream from my phone. But I would have to have like a separate phone somewhere, because I'm using this camera up here is my phone. So I'd have to have a special phone set up just for TikTok, and I actually tried. I kind of tried. I looked at the app. I downloaded the app and tried to install it. Their app is really, really bad. Like, I don't know how they have so many users, because I couldn't even get the app to work. It's crazy. I'm actually a very tech-savvy guy. Like, I'm streaming on 19 platforms, and I can't figure out how to make TikTok work. Their sign-in process is massively buggy, like extremely buggy. I couldn't even sign in. I couldn't log into the app. Completely ridiculous. I've been looking for you for over a year because I kind of forgot your name. Oh, really? That's funny. That's funny. Yeah, if you don't know my username, I'm extremely hard to find because I'm extremely unpopular. Like, I'm not going to be... Like, if you just go to the homepage of some streaming platform and start scrolling, you're going to be scrolling for probably 3 years straight. Just, like, scrolling, just to find my stream because I'm never promoted on any platform. Unless it's a really small platform, then maybe I would show up somewhere, but otherwise, yeah, there's no way you're gonna find me. Pretty much all the platforms are like that. If you're a small streamer, you're never gonna be found. Okay, I have to do the most annoying part of the process. Probably one of the top 3 most annoying things in bookbinding is sanding the edges of the pages. Or sanding the edges of the... Oh, there's a moth right over here. I wish I could get it, but I have to make these smoothed out. The only reason I found you is because I followed you. Yeah, I know. Like, even on DLive, I'm probably like, you probably have to scroll for miles just to find me. I should be extremely famous on DLive. Like, I've been on there longer than pretty much anybody else that's still streaming besides maybe 5 or 10 people. But yeah, basically the only reason I was ever popular on DLive is because I supported other streamers. And I started realizing that, and I just said, this is dumb. Like, if people don't like me for who I am, I'm not gonna like buy likes. I'm not gonna buy friends, you know what I mean? So I stopped like donating to other streamers and all that because I'm just like, this is fake friends, you know. I didn't want to do that anymore. So after I stopped doing that, pretty much nobody watched my streams anymore. Tiny bit of effort and you are found, but a platform is never responsible for promoting anyone. Yeah, no, I agree. I'll start. You gotta, like, I don't expect them to do my work for me. Like, if I really wanted to succeed, I'd have to do a lot of heavy lifting to make my stream more interesting to people. And as you know, not to say anything about old people, but we old people are very unlikely to make it big in streaming. It's a young person's game. Old people typically have to work about 100 times as hard. If you're young and attractive, you put your camera on, you get viewers. If you're old like us, you have to do so much work, it's not even funny. I get it, by the way. You can call me Midas now. I go by that for about 4 years. Nice. Well, I will do that, Midas. Nice to meet you again. Try gaming. See, the thing is, I don't really like gaming. Plus, that's the saturated market. Like, there's too many people doing it already. So, but yeah, it's boring. It's incredibly boring to do gaming because the only thing that's fun for me with gaming is gaming with my friends and like in real life. But just sitting like at a computer and like playing a game, I find it incredibly boring. So yeah, I don't really do it. I used to do retro gaming, but I might do retro games from time to time, but I can pretty much promise you that if I do that, I'll get basically no viewers. So it won't be very rewarding. It'll just be if I need. The only time I do gaming is if I need it. Like, if I personally need it in some way, like to just escape or have fun, then I'll do it. But as far as a content type thing to grow my channel, it's definitely not going to work. Cook. I've done that before. I've actually done some cookie baking streams, but I'm not good at cooking. I actually hate cooking. Hey, woof, woof, woof. Had a really good and terrible day yesterday. I sometimes do vlogs on my channel. I can't say exactly who or what happened, but I met a new friend. I mean, he's a guy that I knew from church, but I actually met up with him and we spent 5 hours until midnight last night just talking about our lives and everything. It was really good, but it was really difficult as well. Like after I got home, I literally sobbed and wept louder than I have. I don't know, it's possible my neighbors might have heard me. So it was a good and bad day all at the same time. You should like spread your live, like sharing it or posting on TikTok and stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I actually don't really care if I succeed. Like I appreciate all the advice and stuff. But you're young. If you can succeed. Like I'd rather see you go fulfill your dreams while you're still young. Once you get old like me, I promise you, it's way harder. Like all the effort that I put into it years ago didn't pay off, so I just stopped putting the effort into it because it's very disheartening and depressing to try really hard and get nothing back out of it. It's not time well spent, basically. Like when you get older, you have to like see your time as a resource and like invest time in things that are worthwhile, and it's not worthwhile. I do it for fun, so I stopped caring if I like succeed, and so I just do it in my spare time as a hobby. I've been doing this for 6 years, and you know, even back when I was trying really hard, nothing happened. So it's not worth it. Plus, like, I actually know all the pitfalls. I know every single pitfall in the streaming world. One of the biggest ones is once you get popular, your viewers own you. They own your mind and your heart and your soul. You can't just like do what you like. You have to do what works. So you're kind of like stuck. And you can actually start to hate streaming because you can't, like, I'm a variety streamer. I do whatever the heck I want, whether I get views or not. Sorry, comment here. So I get to I have the luxury of still enjoying it and not beginning to hate it. But if you like get a niche following, like people that only watch you because they like a specific kind of content or something, you're stuck. Because if you change out of that niche, you're screwed. And also, like, you get like big donators or something. Like if you make those donators unhappy in any way, like, and they go away, there's all your money, you know. So it's incredibly risky, like, and it's very viral, so you can maybe get popular for a while, but like try actually retiring, like having an entire full career of like 40 years doing streaming, like good luck with that. Like you might be able to support yourself for a while, but doing it for like your entire career is just, yeah, right. You know, it's very volatile, basically. By the way, sorry for my grammar. My school didn't teach me anything. I haven't even seen any grammar problems, so I don't know what you're talking about. I guess my grammar must be as bad as yours, if yours is bad. I think it's more about typos. You know, phones kind of make the mistakes for us. I'm so sick of typing on my phone. It's funny, with all this AI stuff, it amazes me how unintelligent phone keyboard apps are. They're really bad. You head to bed, no worries. Yeah, you didn't say okay bye. You gotta say okay bye. Oh, here it comes, here it comes. Okay, bye. Good to talk to you. Thanks for hanging out for a bit. Have a good week. I don't know what these little fuzzy things are. Yeah, I do everything wrong, but it's kind of on purpose. Like, another thing that you really should do is keep a steady schedule. I've never done that because that's it becomes like a burden, in my opinion. Like, I like the freedom to stream whenever it makes sense. So yeah, I don't commit to any kind of schedule. I just do it whenever I need it. Essentially, it's kind of it's my hobby. It's my rules. Like literally nobody can tell me anything to do other than the stream, the platform, like terms of service. But I've never broken terms of service, and I never will, because it's family-friendly streams and content. So I don't have to worry about that. My personal rules for life are far more strict than any terms of service on any platform. Like mine are orders of magnitude more strict than any terms of service, just my daily choices. So there's zero chance I would ever break terms of service. Okay, so let's see. Need my knife. I think what I'm seeing there, I kind of forgot, this particular book board has a fabric backing on it, so it's literally pulling strings out of the board, and that's what these little fuzzy things are. So if I pull them, I'm going to actually pull these strings. I wasn't really realizing that till just now. So I can leave those fuzzy things in, they'll just get glued inside the cover. It's totally fine. The main reason I hate this step, it's not hard, or it's not really that annoying. It's like the process is easy, but like it produces all this dust, and not only is it on my desk, but you can't really see it on stream, but it's literally like floating like a loose cloud all over, and I'm breathing that in, and it's gross. And then yeah, that dust is like literally a light coating over all my stuff that you see. I don't like it. Hey Dale, what to do? How you doing? Long time no see. Stuff is probably really loud because I don't have noise cancellation on. I'm kind of done with noise cancellation for a while because it cuts out my voice so much that I can't stand it. So some people like the sounds anyway because then they're more like immersed in what I'm doing, but some of these are probably really loud on my microphone. Man, just swinging by to say howdy do. Off to bed soon. Cool, man. Thanks for dropping by. Always good to see you. Hope your life is going well. Just a second here. Forgot to turn do not disturb on my phone. Okay, that's better. I have that one friend that I met. I want to be available for him. He's going through some hard times, and I'm trying to keep my phone not on do not disturb, but while I'm streaming it's kind of annoying to have it making noises. So. All good here, thanks. Hope yours as well. It's alright. Not bad. I mean, about the same as before, I guess. I got to be used by the Lord, so so far it's a good week. That's kind of what I want my life to be all about, is being a blessing to other people. So whenever that happens, it's kind of a good day for me or whatever. I'm already feeling the effects of all this dust. Probably have to get a drink just so it doesn't clog my throat. It's probably like cancerous and deadly also, which is nice. It's always good. I got every surface. Sometimes I miss some, and it's just this one, and then I'm ready to start putting it together or doing the next step, whatever that is. I can't even remember. It's been a million years since I've done bookbinding. Okay, is this song going past? Stupid audio player sometimes lets songs go beyond their end time, looping eternally, because it's all like direct from game music, but I guess it's not quite there yet. All the game files, like the file formats for the game music, is always like kind of a format that the audio players don't really handle perfectly sometimes anyway. Okay, maybe I can do... Love the sketchbook drawings you've been doing recently. Thanks. Yeah, actually, I was debating, vacillating between doing that versus bookbinding tonight, but I decided to do bookbinding mainly because it actually feels somehow productive. Because like if I actually finish a book, technically or theoretically, I could sell it and get a few dollars. So, whereas the drawing, I can't do that. But so it feels somehow almost like, I mean, it's not profitable because it's like 50 cents an hour, but it's still at least there's some purpose to it. So that's kind of why what tipped the scales and made me decide to do this. Plus I haven't done it in a long time. It's also... Actually met that guy that I met. He's also a live streamer, but he does something completely different. It's cool. He's the first person I've met like in real life. Well, that's not entirely true. I met him in real life, like already, and then I found out later that he's a live streamer. I guess that's the distinction. Because I have met up with, I don't know, maybe 10 live streamers, but it was all in one go because I went to that D-Live meetup back in 2019. But other than that, that's kind of the only time I met up with other live streamers. But it was kind of cool. It's like, what? You're a live streamer? No way. Super interesting. Okay, let's get rid of this dust. I'll be right back. Grab my brush. Such a mess. Usually just brush it off onto the floor because it's not, I don't know, I could put it on a piece of paper and roll it into the garbage or something, but I guess I'll do that. That's a significant amount. I've actually kind of gotten a little bit sick, mildly sick, from this kind of dust, so I try not to do too much of it in one sitting, just because it starts concentrating, pooling up in my lungs or whatever. I think it's probably not, it's really not good for me to do it too much. When I'm outside, like, I also sand the edges of the books to make them smooth. Like these edges, you can see how, well, maybe you can kind of see how smooth that is. I use a belt sander for that, but I do that outside, and I have a fan blowing so it blows all the dust away from where I'm sitting. And sometimes I wear a mask, but I hate wearing masks, so I usually just kind of rely on the fan to blow it all away, which works pretty well as long as I'm outside. But with this stuff, I could do it outside, but it's literally like, it's like 10 o'clock p.m., so I'm not gonna go outside. I would make all the neighbor dogs bark and get a bunch of mosquitoes on me. It'd be literally the worst possible experience in my lifetime. So yeah, just gotta deal with a little dust in here. Okay, let's figure out what we got going on here. All right, so those are ready. The next stage, let's just look at this. It's all ready to go. Yep. So next is making the cover. So I need to choose a fabric. Looks like I have 127. I'll check that. See if that's a good choice still. I don't even know if I can find my folder. I have ever since I switched to Linux, I don't really know where some of my files are. Somewhere I have a bookbinding folder. Let's see if I can find it. There it is. Covers. 127. Oh, of course I don't have it. Oh, here we go. 27. Oh man, that one. I don't really want to do that one. I chose an annoying fabric already. I don't know if I'm going to do it. Use it. I might repick again. The reason it's annoying is it's because it's, I always forget this word. I don't know if it's just old people like me that have this issue, but there's certain words that I use often enough, so they should be in my vocabulary and just on the tip of my tongue in my brain ready to use, but I forget them every time. Every time. Every time I need to think of this word, I forget it. Upholstery, okay. So the fabric is upholstery fabric, so it's like really thick and it's hard to work with. So that's why I'm like, do I really want to use this? But I don't know. I already made that decision, so I'm just gonna go with it because it'll take, you know, a long time to open up the fabric bin just to like look at all of them and try to pick a new one. So I'll just. It actually takes a while just to get the fabric anyway, because I have to do the same thing. I have to open my big old bin of fabric and look through it, dig through it, because everything's all stacked on top of each other. It's really kind of annoying. But I don't have another way to do it. It'd be nice to have some kind of giant book, you know, like those poster books, if you know what I'm talking about. Like back in the 90s, they had these giant poster flip things, like 24 by 36 or whatever, huge like books where you could flip through them, and like in Target or Walmart or wherever, movie posters, comic book posters, stuff like that. If I had something like that with all my fabrics in them so I could like flip through it easier, that would be really cool. But then you'd have to have like a whole room just for that flip book thing. Actually, I've kind of wanted one of those for a long time because, not for the fabric, but like here's an example of upholstery fabric. It's really thick, and hard to work with, but I don't think this is the one I'm looking for. I've wanted one of those huge poster flip book things because I'd like to put maps on it. It'd be super cool because I really like maps, like for my hiking and stuff. Actually, this is the one. This is the one I was looking for. Okay, good. That was fast. It's like the first one I grabbed, which is super unlikely. Usually I have to like dig through this giant bin of fabric to find something. Yeah, I want to like mount a giant flip book on my wall so I can like have all the maps that I like when I'm planning my hikes, and just kind of, it'd be fun to have like pins or some like a dry erase marker or something that I can mark on the, not on the map itself, but like on, maybe on a transparent layer over the top, like a, you know, glass frame thing, whatever. Yeah, it'd just be cool to like draw the places I've been on the maps and plan hikes and stuff, but I don't know if I'll ever actually do that. It's just kind of one of those things I wish I could do. Or I've also thought it'd be awesome to like have a ridiculously huge map that covers the entire wall, so I wouldn't have to flip through it. It would just be huge. But yeah, I think if I owned my own house and had freedom to do whatever I want with it, I'd do all sorts of crazy stuff on the walls. I actually did that when I was a kid and had my own bedroom. My parents gave my sister and I freedom to kind of do whatever we wanted with our walls, so we could paint them any colors we wanted, we could draw on them, you know, whatever. So I actually did that when I was a kid, and so ever since I had that experience, it kind of makes me want to do it as an adult, to be honest. So I think, but I'm living in a place that I don't own myself, so I can't just feel free to unleash my creativity on the walls, but I think I would if I could. And it wouldn't be very aesthetically pleasing to the average person. Like if somebody came into my house, they'd be like, this is wacky. So it wouldn't be for presentation purposes, but it would mean something to me, and that's all that matters. So part of me wants to like use this cool flower area because it's just kind of symmetrical and I could wrap that around the book, but I hate doing that because that means I would potentially be cutting the fabric in a way that might not leave a good shape for the next time, for the next book. But I don't want to not, I mean, I want to frame it somehow. I don't want to just like arbitrarily cut at the corner. So I think I'll move it right here where this rectangle comes to a point, and center the book there and cut that way. And then whenever the next time I use this fabric, maybe then I'll use this piece for a different book. But the problem is, like, if I only align it with the pattern every time, then I can't use nearly as much of the fabric that way, and it gets more expensive. Like, you know, like for example, if I only align it with these flowers and the rest is scrap, then it, you know, it makes the fabric purchases way stupid expensive. There's too much waste, so just gotta strike a balance in there somewhere. So I'll probably use this part here this time. So I'll line up these pieces there. But yeah, I'm actually not quite ready for that. It's been, like I said, it's been a while since I've done this. I have to remember how I do these. There's a certain order in the steps that I do. I really should have a checklist or something that I run through so I don't forget anything. Let's see. This is always complicated too. This one goes that way. This one goes that way. And this one goes that way. All right. Pencil. Kind of annoyed. This is unrelated, but I bought this ink recently and I did a short review of it online. I don't do product reviews, so it's not about that. It's more that I wanted to see what this stuff was like for my own art purposes. I thought it would be amazing, but I don't know, it's a little bit disappointing because it's not completely waterproof. The weird thing to me is that most of the reviews that I search for, they say it's 100% waterproof, you know, totally waterproof. So I wouldn't have necessarily bought it if I thought it wasn't waterproof, so it's kind of disappointing. I think I'm still going to give it a chance sometime though, because I think everything else about it is, like, all of its attributes are really well suited for what I want to use it for, but that's unfortunately, being waterproof happens to be the most important thing to me. So I don't know. And the only reason I brought that up is it's just right in front of my face there, so completely unrelated to what I'm doing, but I just thought I'd mention that since I have it sitting there. It could be used for definitely for drawing when I'm not planning to use watercolor pencils on the top of it, because then it wouldn't smear, it wouldn't need to be waterproof. But and I would say it's like 90 to 95% waterproof, but that extra 5% leaves it like a cloudy, slightly gray blob wherever I get it wet, and that's kind of undesirable, especially when I have other brands of ink that don't do that at all. So anyway, okay, let's see. Next step is to measure everything. So I got the width and height. I need to figure all this junk out again. This sucks. I might have to pull up my spreadsheet of past books every time. This is a mystery and I can't remember how to do it. How to measure everything. It's different every time because it's different depending on the fabric, and yeah, it's kind of a pain. So I need to find my spreadsheet. Wow, that's weird. I don't get it. That doesn't make any sense at all to me. So the latest books that I've done are not on my spreadsheet. So either I moved my spreadsheet or I forgot to put these on there. That's really stupid. That's really annoying. Let me check what numbers these are. That's probably the case. I just didn't put these on there. Let me see. Oh, that's annoying. 112. I used to just have, back when I was doing bookbinding like all the time, I just like run through a kind of a procedure, and I wouldn't make these kind of mistakes, or not really mistakes, but this one, that's funny. I didn't even technically finish this one. I think it's pretty much finished, but the last step that I do on every book is I cut the ribbons off, and I can't actually tell for sure if I did it, but it looks like I did not. I cut the ribbon off and then I signed the back, and I didn't sign it, so apparently I didn't even finish this one. Whatever. So and I don't remember when I did that, so I'll either have a date that's later than when I actually finished it, or I guess technically I'd put whenever date that I truly finish it, even if it's pretty much 98% done. Okay, so the information I need is probably this book. So if I have this thing, I should be able to figure it out. Just have to probably reuse these same dimensions here. Oops. Oh no. Hey, Shadow Songs, that one is lovely. Thank you. I'm actually going to make one that, I don't think this is the same fabric, but it's very similar to the fabric I'm about to use. I don't know if you're talking about this one or one of the other ones, because I wasn't looking at my chat just then, but anyway. I guess I can just use a regular ruler. I do have like one of those, what do they call them, micrometers, or little pinchy things with the digital readout so you can measure the thickness of things. I do have one of those, but I'll probably just use a regular ruler to keep it simple. Peacock one, but I love the pattern on that one you're handling now. Yeah, the peacock one is actually historical for me in that it's the first fabric that I ever made a book out of. So I used this fabric on my very first book, and actually I think the first 5 books that I ever made. So this fabric is probably my favorite just for that reason. So yeah, it's cool that you like it too. I bought like as much as I could at that's not true. I kind of wish I would have bought more of that. I think it's probably still a design that's available. I don't remember. I either got it at Walmart or Joann's Fabrics or something. I don't remember. So if I did a hunt, I could maybe find more of it, but I have a fair amount, so I could make quite a few more books before I run out. But once I run out and they stop, printing that pattern, then that'll be it, I guess. Okay, let's inspect these dimensions. I think it looks okay. It's a little bit bigger than it needs to be, but I'd rather have it be too big than too small, so I think I'll just reuse all the same things. Oh, the reason I got this is I was looking for my pencil, and that whole entire time I was distracted with various things. I'm the most distractible person in the history of the world. I think I have all of the ADD, ADHD stuff. I've never been tested, but I can't focus anymore, unfortunately. Okay. Sell these anywhere? Not currently. I probably will eventually sell some, but I mainly make them as gifts for friends and family because it's just kind of a hobby, and I use them myself because I've been writing in journals since I was a kid, so I actually use them. But unfortunately, it's not profitable at all. I can't sell them for enough to make it a profitable venture. So I don't really like selling them that much, to be honest. Feels like I have to kind of give them away for how much time and effort that goes into them. It's kind of depressing. So I don't get overly excited to sell them. The only reason I will sell them is not for money, but literally just to make people happy. Like, it doesn't matter what price I set, I won't make money. But like people like you or whoever comes by that likes me as a person, or I'm their friend, and they want to have one, it'll just give them a way to have access to them. But as far as a business venture, it's not a good idea, unfortunately. But ADHD is the new normal. It seems like it. I honestly, I'm not actually a conspiracy theorist, but I do believe that it's an intentional thing, a sabotage on our society. I don't know who the saboteur is, but I do actually believe that it's being done through our food, really, really terribly unhealthy food. It's being done through social media. It's being done through a lot of different things. There's just a lot of stuff in our society that's really not human healthy. It's a completely fair. They make lovely gifts to you, I'm sure. Yeah, totally. It makes me really happy to give them to somebody, especially if I know that they'll really appreciate it. 'Cause unfortunately, it's kind of a dying art. There's not that many people that write things in handwriting anymore. Most people just use their cell phones and write on social media, and don't have time to sit down and write or draw. But for the kind of people that I know who really still are into that old-fashioned stuff, to get these in their hands, that makes, you know, me happy. Like I served a little bit of a purpose in making their experience somehow a little bit better. Okay, so let's get on with this here. I'm very unproductive today, which I was going to actually put that in my stream description, because I knew I was going to be all floundering, because I haven't done this for so long. I always forget what I'm doing. Yeah, I really wish I could have taken bookbinding years ago in college, but couldn't make it work. It may not be profitable, but it's definitely a labor of love. Absolutely. And I would encourage anybody that's interested in doing it to, you know, consider taking it up if it's really that interesting. Most people say, oh, I wish, but, you know, in reality, they may never do it. But if you're one of those that's on the fence and considering actually doing it, you know, go for it. I'd encourage you to do it. But yeah, I know it's easier said than done to pick up a new hobby. You have to figure out how to do it. You got to buy a bunch of supplies and all that. So, okay, so the spine, oh, I'm literally trying to remember what I'm doing. So this goes there, that goes there, and I'm just aligning these up to where they will be on the final book once it's assembled. Someday, I hope, if time permits. Yeah, that's a big part of it. Life gets in the way of all the things we dream and hope for. But there's always time for one or two things, and you know, it's like a kind of a ranking system in our minds of like, okay, which thing wins out in the end. But in reality, most of us, if we actually analyze our time, if we're able to be that efficient or knowledgeable, we could find pockets of time that we could reclaim. Like, for example, how much time do we spend on our phones or on YouTube or on Netflix or whatever? And is that really helping us? You know, or is it kind of rotting our brains? So we could reclaim some of that time and do something that we know would bring more joy in our lives. But it takes a very strong will to do that. And I have the same issue. I have a hard time using my time effectively. I just get so easily distracted. It's kind of pathetic, but it's reality. So anybody that struggles with that, I'm not going to condemn anybody, because I'm probably the worst in the world. It's what I feel like right now. So okay, so I'm putting these little pieces on there just so I don't make an indentation on the actual board. They're just kind of buffers to protect the book. And so now I have it in place, and I can measure like the spine, for example. I use just a scrap thin piece of paper like this, make it as flat as possible, wrap it around the edge. I do it on one of these 3 humps, which is the widest part of the book, because they're actually protruding a little bit. So I measure on there, and I fold it really tight around so there's no like pockets of air in between, and just pinch it on the edge of the boards, and it leaves a imprint of that. And then I can measure how wide that wraparound is, which is 3.25 centimeters. Let's see, where's my I think my little post-it note is underneath here, which is annoying. Let me think. I don't think there's anything else I need to do. I can just write it here for now. We're on this post-it 3.25. And I just need to measure this side, I guess. That one is 1.9. Okay. This is the pen I've been using. It's possible ever since I started bookbinding. I say this is the pen before I actually have it in my hand, and it might take me an hour to find. But it was here when I was doing my sketch stream, so it should still be here somewhere. Gotta find it now that I mentioned it. I can't just let that go. Not that it matters, it's nothing special, but it's kind of cool to have use the same supplies for years and years because they just last forever. That always makes me happy. Ever thought of doing a bookbinding instructional video on YouTube? I have thought about that, and I may do that someday. I don't really enjoy content creation though. I'm not a content creator as far as, I don't know, that's kind of I guess I'm not a YouTuber. I'm not a video maker. I like to live stream. I don't even consider myself a live streamer. I'm just a person a regular Joe that's not very interesting that likes to live stream. But, you know, I'm not good at it or successful, but yeah, so I don't really like spending like days and days like editing videos and stuff. It's not enjoyable for me. I find it very tedious. So I would like to have that on my channel just in case people are interested. No, literally in 6 years, not one person, this sounds crazy, not one person has expressed interest in doing what I do. So it feels kind of like a waste of time. I know it would probably be found by the algorithm and maybe people that are interested would find it, but as far as expressing of interest, nobody has ever expressed any true interest. So it's more of just being a teacher, leaving behind what you have learned. Yeah, you're right. I do agree with that sentiment, and I may do that someday. Oh man, where is that? Yeah, passing on what you've learned. The thing is though, I mean, I do have some tricks that nobody else does, so I do have something unique to offer, but generally speaking, there's already quite a few bookbinding videos on YouTube and other platforms. So if somebody was really looking for it, they wouldn't have any trouble finding content as it is. But yeah, I have a few tricks up my sleeve that I've never seen anybody do that I think are useful and profound. But there's other people that do things that I don't do as well. You know, we all have something to offer. That's so weird. Okay, I give up. That's a waste of time. I don't know where my pen is. This is the same pen. It's just blue instead of red, so whatever. It's around somewhere. I don't know where it is. Okay, spine equals... But anyway, I've been using it for like, I think like over 10 years and it still works just fine. I pretty much have it sitting there on my desk usually just for bookbinding, so I don't really use it for anything else. Although on my last stream, if you're really curious, the lore of Flow, I used it in my last live stream, so you can like watch the entire thing and find one use of it. I colored in the mouth of one of the characters on my last sketch stream because it was just sitting there and I didn't feel like going to search for something else. But normally I don't use it for anything but bookbinding. Okay, 3.25. So you can see how long this stuff takes. It's because I can't get on task, I can't stay focused. A normal young person that hasn't been so infected by terrible foods and social media they have, but probably most young people already have ADHD, and I can't even imagine how bad they'll be when they get to my age. But anyway, yeah, I cannot do this quickly. Even if I wanted to, I've tried to stay on task and I can't. I just get so distracted and it's horrible. And that's part of the reason why I can't ever make money. But even if I never had 1 second of dead time, it would still, the most I could do is like $2 an hour. And when minimum wage around you in a high cost of living is $15 an hour, it's stupid. Anyone that argues otherwise is just living in a dream world and not using their brain properly, to be honest. Sounds harsh, but it's true. Let's see. I can't, like, I literally get so distracted I can't even remember what I'm doing like 10 seconds ago. It's embarrassing. Oh, I was gonna look at this. We got spine equals 12.9 plus 4 fabric thicknesses. Okay, so I have this equation that I've kind of been using. So 4 fabric thicknesses, it's kind of hard to actually get a accurate measurement, but I just fold the fabric in half and then fold it in half again and then attempt to measure that, which is pretty hard when you're working with this really thick stuff. It probably would help me to go get that micrometer, but I don't really want to. I think I know where it is, but I think 0.5 is good. That's actually what I had on that other one. And this is probably either the same kind of fabric or very similar. So we'll do plus 0.5 and then what else? Just keep my notes. I keep these really detailed notes on all of my calculations because it's been 3 months since I did this, so I don't remember. So that if I have these notes from last time, I can just look it up. I sort of have a notes document somewhere too, but I'd rather just do it this way. I have I transfer all these notes to my spreadsheet, but apparently I haven't been updating the spreadsheet recently, which is kind of annoying, but yeah, whatever. FG, right? FG. So S, not that it matters, but height, we got width, height. S is for spine, so measuring the spine. FG is flap gap, which means the space between the flap and the back of the book. So the back of the book, wraps around like this, like that. So the flap gap is the distance between the flap and the back of the book, however wide that is. Okay, so flap gap equals, and I did measure that earlier, it was 1.9. And my equation for that is 6 fabrics. If you want to know why 6 fabrics, because there's 2 here, 2 there, and 2 there, because it's wrapping around, so it's making this bookboard thicker by having fabric on this side and fabric on that side, and it's doing that on all 3 of these pieces, so that's 6. That's why I do that. So theoretically it should be 0.75 because I already know that 4 fabrics is 0.5, so 6 would be 0.75. And I have this universal constant that, I have that thing where I do the fabric thickness, but I also have a universal constant that I add that kind of gives it a little bit of fudge room and looseness, so it doesn't so it's not too tight. Basically it allows there a little bit of breathing room so that you have this kind of curvature. So if I don't add that universal content extra, it'll be so tight that it won't be able to close. It'll be like, I can't get it closed, so I add that little extra. Same here, it makes it stick out just a little bit, but that way it's not difficult to close. Okay. Anything else? I think that's all I need to measure. 3.25 plus 0.5 is 3.75 plus 0.1 is 3.85. 1.9, I can't, and I never trust my math anymore. I actually used to quite excel at math when I was a kid, but I'm terrible at math anymore. So I always use a calculator because this stuff is very sensitive. If you make any calculation mistakes, it's gonna destroy the results. So I could do this in my head, but the risk is not worth the reward, I guess, whatever. Okay. 1.9 plus 0.75 plus 0.5, 3.15. Okay, just that little bit of measuring took me like half an hour. I don't know, it's what it feels like. I'm just so slow anymore. Okay, but I think I have all the numbers I need. So now I just need to put everything back where it belongs. I always double check. Inside this and these two pieces, there's magnets that, well, I think it's these teeth. Yeah, okay, there we go. And they only stick one way because magnets have a north and south pole, whatever. So this is the way that they're the strongest. So I need to make sure that when I glue them inside the cover that I put them in the correct place. So this is representing the book right here, front and back cover. This opens that way, and it'll attach to this back piece, and this opens that way. So I need to make sure that those are glued in that way. This one doesn't really matter, but I'm gonna do it that way so that this stuff doesn't show on the back of the book. Yeah, anyway. Okay, so that. And now what I do is I have those measurements that I calculated, which is 3.15. That's the flap gap right here. So I have these templates that I've made years ago, or some of them are recent because I sometimes find ones that I don't have the right number, but so I'm looking for 3.15. I just realized my chat isn't beeping. There we go. I don't know why it does that sometimes. Okay, 3.15. I don't like having to look at the screen all the time, so I have it make a little beep noise, but it sometimes just turns itself off. I don't know why. And I need a 3.85, which it doesn't look like I have, so I'm gonna have to cut a new one. I know I had at least one like sitting on my desk from previous bookbinding, and I don't know where that one went, but so I'll just assume that I don't have the right size and cut another one. I've mentioned this before, but I really want to have these in metal. Like if I could get a person to cut these out of metal, it'd be awesome, but they would charge me so much that it would be not profit. I mean, I couldn't pay what their services are worth, so I can't like go and pay some laser cutter or water jet cutter. It would probably cost hundreds of dollars just to make these stupid things, but I wish I had those in metal. Okay, so I need a 3.85 piece. Let me try to find my stuff to cut out of. I just have some like mat boards that I use to cut these templates out of. One of these days I'll finally have every possible size. I'm kind of surprised I don't already, and that I can still find a size that I don't have. But I've made about 115 books, so it's not like a crazy number. And there's a lot of repeat sizes, so it takes a while to get every single step between the measurements. Yeah, it's kind of crazy, that whole concept of just what Elstar said last, just being a teacher. I understand that I'm not a teacher. I mean, I probably could have been if I would have gone that direction and taken all the classes, but I don't think I have the natural knack for being a teacher, because it takes a certain kind of personality type to succeed at that. That took forever. And it's not even necessarily, well, yeah, mostly personality type, I guess. Like, I'm an extreme introvert, so I don't do well speaking to groups of people, and I definitely don't do well trying to be a leader and discipline type person. So I would not be able to teach kids, because you have to know how to be a parent, and when they're doing something wrong, which is pretty much all the time, you have to maintain order in the classroom and all that stuff. I knew I could never do that. I don't even think I was meant to be a parent, to be honest. I don't have any kids, and it seems unlikely I ever will. Some part of me wishes I did, but just the Lord God of the universe determined a different outcome than I expected, so just my life is what it is. And but yeah, I don't think I'm meant for that stuff. It's probably a blessing that I didn't have kids. I probably would have been not the best parent. But anyway, I think I can do mentoring though. Like I could teach like 2 or 3 people how to do something in a small environment, but I can't do like classroom dynamics. I think I could do it with adults a little bit easier than kids, because adults don't have behavior problems in classrooms. Like they're there to they want to learn. If you have an adult in a classroom, they want to learn, because nobody's forcing them. Like when you're a kid, you're forced to be at school. But adults go to school by choice, and it's because they want to enrich their knowledge or life in some way. So I could do some kind of community college thing or something, but it's not a priority for me, because it wouldn't be a thing I could do as a job, really. They don't pay enough, and I'm not skilled enough to be like a college professor. I don't even have a college degree myself, so. But yeah, YouTube is a way where anybody can be a teacher, and so that's a cool concept. Okay, so 3.85. See all that? I literally couldn't move my hands and talk at the same time. I'm not even joking. That's how distractible I am. Okay, 3.8. Most people would be like all talking and doing this stuff, and they'd get something done. I can't. If I'm really concentrating on what I'm saying in order to not stutter and have something worthwhile to say, I almost can't move, because how my brain is dysfunctional. And like if I'm driving, I won't get in an accident, but I can't like pay attention to where I need to turn. If I'm talking to somebody in the car, I'll just like keep driving and skip the turn. So I really have to, like, if I'm talking to somebody, I'll say, hey, wait, just a second, I can't talk for a minute. I need to pay attention to where I'm going. Okay. I bought this small but nice square somewhat recently. I haven't really used it much, but it might become one of my favorite cutting tools. I don't know. I also have these lights I like to use when I'm cutting, because it's really hard to see where the lines are unless you have really bright lights. Hey, Balthier. I know I'm butchering your name, and I've seen you before. I remember your name, but bad at pronouncing names, so I apologize in advance. I'm doing pretty good. How are you? I'm good. What you making? I am making a book. I do bookbinding, so here's kind of an example of what I'm making, a finished book. It just has blank pages. I call them journals because I like to write in journals, but you could also use them as a sketchbook, I guess. Okay, let's measure to make sure I cut that right. Looks nice, thank you. 3.85. Yep, it's good. Okay, so we have everything we need. or oh, maybe not everything. Let's see. I keep moving stuff around, so I always double check everything, because if I accidentally flipped this and then I glued it in the wrong side, it'd be a 100% disaster. The book wouldn't work and I would have wasted many hours of my life. So double check, make sure the magnets line up, and flip those back. Okay. So this is my total size of the book. Those little spacers give me my gaps, and so now I know how big to cut the fabric. And I'm gonna have to eventually get my ironing board, but for now I'm just gonna cut some stuff. Cutting this fabric is kind of annoying. It's so big that I have to like let it hang over the edge of the table, and it's hard to keep it straight. It'll be especially difficult with this fabric because I'm trying to match it up with the pattern. Most of the fabric that I use is not particularly important where it lines up. Like it's just a repeating pattern, and it's small enough of a pattern that I don't try to match it anywhere. But something like this, I have to be more intentional about where it lines up, and I can't really see where it lines up. Like on the back of the fabric, which is where I kind of have to mark it, it's hard to see, but I'll do my best. I guess I'll use this. Let's see, my height is 14.25, so if I put the middle at like 7, just a little bit more than 7, that should be about right. Let's see. Okay, hopefully that is correct. I can't see the pattern on this side, but I can see some, like the back side of the pattern, and I'm not sure if it's a perfect lining up, but hopefully it's close enough. So we'll just go with that. The other thing is I'm kind of assuming that the fabric was cut straight along the pattern, but if it's not, then that could be an issue too. But it should be fine. And then somewhere I have this jig that I use, just 1 inch and 1/8, that I use to give myself a little bit of extra. I can't even see those marks I made barely. This fabric is so dark. So that gives me a little bit extra, but in order to verify that I got this straight, I should probably measure those top areas. It's like about 4.25. So that needs to come down just a tad. Hopefully that's close enough. So I just line up all these pieces to this jig on the bottom and kind of hold it in place. This is really hard. It's not easy. Then I need to make sure I have enough room over there, which I think, as long as it's about this much, I'll just push it over just a little bit more to be safe. It is hard. It's not terrible, but it is kind of difficult. This part's not hard. What I'm about to do is the hard part. So I have to like hold all of this stuff in place because the gravity is pulling this fabric off the table. I have a huge amount of fabric like hanging off the edge, and then I need to grab my cutting. Oh, I have to start all over. I have to start completely over because I don't have the ruler that's long enough, right? And it's in the drawer of the desk, so I have to start all over. So get this out of the way, grab the ruler. Hi, Art. What in the world does that mean? Hey, Rez. Hey, Rez. How are you doing? No, that was a bunch of time wasted, but it won't take too long to get back to where I was. Yeah, I'm also using my belly to pinch the fabric on the edge of the table, otherwise it would slide off as soon as it could. It's on that panel there. The panel. Oh, nice. That's hilarious. I didn't even notice. Good one. High art for high res. It's all about you, man. I did that on purpose, like, obviously. Obviously. High res is one of, I was just talking, we had a little bit of, I had an old friend come by. I don't know if you've met them or not, but they used to be called the Arctic Fox. His new username is Midas. He's been around on DLive for years, and he came back and said hi. And anyway, we were talking about DLive, how it's changed and all that stuff, and I mentioned there's just a handful of streamers that have been here since those old days, and you're one of those. One of those oldies. Ball's been good. Yeah, it's okay. Life always has its ups and downs, but I'm okay. Same for you. Hope you had a good 4th of July and all that. Last of the Mohicans, yep. I don't know, there's probably more than I realized that, you know, because there's a lot of streamers kind of like me that don't really make a big deal out of their streams and just kind of blend into the background. And if you scroll all the way down to the bottom of the DLive homepage, you find some of those guys, and some of them have probably been around maybe as long as we have. I don't know, but there's definitely a lot of new people as well. But I don't know what people are drawn to on DLive anymore. It used to be really amazing, but I don't know why people find it now. It's so obscure, but all is good. Nice. Glad to hear it. Okay, so now that I have this back where it needs to be, I put this all lined up, more or less. It's really hard to get this lined up because gravity is pulling it off the table, but then once I'm close enough, I have to hold this down and grab this. This is the hardest part right here, is putting this where it needs to be, and then once that's done, this isn't bad. The thing that's bad is when I have to cut it in this really crazy angle, but this actually is not that bad. Sometimes I have to cut it in a very awkward angle and I can't put enough pressure to cut. And I'm also trying to hold the ruler from sliding around, and it can be very, very frustrating and difficult, but I think we'll be okay this time. I don't like this fabric though because it's so heavy that it makes everything more complicated. And when I do the folding and gluing of the fabric, it'll be all the more challenging. So I use this rolling cutter a lot, and for the first time ever, and I don't know how many years I've been doing this, I almost cut myself with it. Just, whatever my last live stream was, I had my finger like sticking over the edge of the ruler like that. I sliced into my finger, but interestingly enough, it only just skinned just a half, not even half, through the layers of my finger calluses, so I didn't actually draw blood. But I'm always worried that I'm going to do that, but I've never actually done it till yesterday, or whenever that was. Okay. That's good enough. Not the best cut I've ever done. And then on this side, I just need to give it the same amount of space. Where's that? It's so weird. I don't understand it, but I magically... Oh, never mind. I was going to say I magically disappear objects, but it's literally right in front of my face. But I do that a lot. Like I just throw something onto my desk and it seems to disappear. I don't know why, how. I just have so many objects here that it's kind of a visual mess. It's kind of like one of those I Spy, Where's Waldo search puzzles. I just have too many things. Okay. That's good. I think I didn't cut this straight because you can see there's kind of a curve down here, but it's probably straight now. This represents one of those more difficult cuts because I'm right-handed, and because I'm putting the ruler on this side, I have to hold it with my right hand and cut with my left hand, which is very difficult. That happens to me when working on the car. Tools disappear and reappear all the time. Like, I know, it doesn't make any sense. Yeah. It's frustrating. I guess it's just part of getting old, but I guess that happened even when I was young. I don't know, it's just magic. My dad does that a lot with his tools, and so he just, like, when he gets frustrated and hates wasting time looking for something, he'll just like go buy a new one, because his workshop is so full of random tools. See, I can't hold this with my right hand because I'm so used to using my left hand. So I can't push hard enough on it, ironically, even though my right hand should be stronger. I'm used to using my left hand, so my muscle brain memory is tuned the opposite way. So I'm just gonna use scissors on the part that I couldn't get with the cutter. Yeah, my dad has so many like repeat duplicate tools because of stuff like that. But you know, it's like any guy, like not any guy, but a lot of us guys are stereotypically anyway, we like tools. So sometimes even if we already know we have a tool, you're just out at like Harbor Freight or someplace and you see something that looks cool, you just buy it. I have 2 of them for no apparent reason. At least I have that temptation. I know I have definitely duplicates in my bookbinding stuff. It used to be every time, this didn't last that long, but every time I went to Home Depot, I would buy one of these because they're only like, at the time they were only like 99 cents or maybe $1.99, and I really like them for bookbinding, so I have quite a few of those because it was sort of like a personal fun tradition. It's like, it's only 99 cents. I'll just buy one since I'm here. But it's not like I have hundreds of them. It was somewhat short period of time when I was doing that, so I probably have like 5. And then I realized, okay, I think I have enough of these, and stopped doing that. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna take a quick break. I appreciate you, High Res. I know you'll probably disappear, but I just want to say before that happens, but I appreciate that I appreciate when you drop by. I'm going to take a quick break and go to the bathroom, so I will be back, but catch you later if you move on. Be back in a few minutes. Okay. So that's the main cut I have to do. I hope I got it more or less aligned with the pattern. It's probably close enough. And then I have to cut 2 more things. I have to cut a piece of rice paper or tissue paper. It works, but I use rice paper. And then I have to cut the fusing material that glues it all together. Gonna eyeball this. I don't really know why I'm spending all that time doing what I just did. It's a complete waste of time. So I'm just gonna cut this off. Can't really see the edge of it because it's fuzzy stuff. Kind of funny, like, because there's so much turnover on DLive and none of the old, or most of the old people aren't here, like, people like me that have always been small streamers don't have any special status, or like, only people that have been here as long as I have know who I am or that I even exist. Because the new people don't know me, you know, any different, that they wouldn't know that I've been here for 6 years. There's nothing telling them that on the platform, so I don't know. It'd be kind of cool if they had like just an OG badge or something, like anyone that's been here past X number of years gets the OG badge. I mean, I don't really care. I'm not here to get, you know, some kind of honor or fame, but it would just be kind of a fun little feature, I guess. Make the new people jealous. It's literally just pixels on the screen. It's like a PNG file. So I think it's hilarious that people get all excited about badges, but I think that would be kind of a fun one. It would be cool, yeah. Okay, apparently I didn't cut this very straight, so let's try this again. Technically, I have a kind of an OG badge because I have the Lino badge, so that kind of works. It's the same way. Only people that know what it means. I mean, there's just a few people that have a clue what that's all about. Let me gotta show off my bling. Actually, oh yeah, there it is. I was like, where is it? There it is. Pretty soon they'll probably just get rid of that too. I wouldn't be surprised if Justin Sun doesn't like the Lino badge. He probably doesn't even know. I don't even think he's that intimately involved. I don't even know if he still owns it, but he was never really actually connected with the site. He just bought it to make money, I guess. But if he knew that was there, he'd probably get rid of it just because it probably annoys him that it has a connection with the old identity, like when it was actually a good website. But yeah, I'm just a grumpy old man. Okay. Let's see. Unfortunately, my Lino badge doesn't get picked up by social stream, I don't think, so it probably didn't even show on my stream, but oh well. It should. I don't know why it wouldn't, but I probably don't have badges turned on. I used to. I might have turned that off, whatever. I don't care that much. Okay. So that's all cut, I guess. I guess the reveal would be whether I matched the pattern, so I have no idea if doing it on the back side if I yeah. So it's kind of arbitrary because, like, I think I pretty well centered that pattern, but as far as the like, once it gets over here, it's not going to be centered because this thing right there doesn't match up with that for some odd reason. Or maybe it does. I don't know, it's hard to tell. I'll find out when I get there. Just like at a first impression, it doesn't look like it matches, but maybe it does. Alright, so I'm grabbing my rice paper. So I just cut this bigger than the fabric. As long as it's a little bit bigger, it's okay. It doesn't need to be like an exact measurement, which is refreshing. I don't have to spend quite as much time lining it up. One thing I do like to do is make sure that this side over here remains square so that the next time I cut it, I don't have to like line everything up quite as carefully. So I usually use a square on this end for that reason. And make sure I cut far enough down this way. Something like that. And this bottom side isn't quite as important, as long as it's more or less straight. Actually, it probably should be. Theoretically, I should keep it square also. I don't know, my brain isn't working right now. My brain never works actually anymore. I don't know. I don't think I'm a, what do you call those people that always think they're sick? I can't think of the word right now because my brain isn't working. Anyway, I don't think I'm one of those people, but I do sort of wonder if I have like a brain tumor or something. I feel like my brain is shutting down. Okay, 263 millimeters. Can't even see. Approximately right there. Okay. That'll help me next time I cut a book or cut this paper so it's not off center. I mean, it's not straight, and then I'll be struggling to get it square. I don't think it matters, honestly, but whatever. I can't even hold this because I don't have it too far off the edge of the table. Okay, there we go. That doesn't even look right. Oh, there it is. These rulers are so slippery too. They have a mind of their own. I'm so used to holding like with quite a bit of force with my left hand, so I don't know if I have like actual strong muscle, but I think I just have the technique down so I can really hold it pretty well. But that last cut I did where I was trying to hold it with my right hand just felt super wimpy. One thing with these circle cutters is it's hard to like stop the cut at an exact point, so you either cut too far and waste some material, or you don't cut far enough and have to follow up with scissors, which is kind of my preference, so I don't. And it doesn't matter with this cheap paper stuff, but like with the fabric, I hate cutting too far because then it makes that edge for the next time have a little slice in it, and I don't know. My perfectionist side takes over every once in a while. I've generally learned to turn it off when it doesn't matter and only turn it on when it does. As far as the bookbinding stuff, most of the time when I'm working on bookbinding, I have my perfectionist mode turned on, even during the steps when it doesn't really matter. And that's part of the reason that I go slow. But since I can't make money doing this, I should do it the way that I enjoy doing it. Otherwise, if I change my habits and it starts to become or feel like a burden to do it, I'd rather just take longer and enjoy it than be all stressed about being fast, and then I don't enjoy it as much. So that's why you'll see me fumbling around a lot. I'm just trying to do everything right, and it takes forever. It's probably torturous to watch, I would imagine, but it's the way it is. So this stuff is called Heat and Bond Ultra Hold. It's basically like a hot glue sheet. You heat it up with an iron and it sticks two pieces of fabric together, or in my case, you can use it to glue paper to fabric. So I'm gluing the rice paper or tissue paper to the fabric, and then what that does for me is it gives me a surface to use wet glue on when I'm assembling the book. In the end, I can use PVA glue to pull it all together. But you can't do that on fabric. PVA glue will just get absorbed into the fabric and make a wet, sticky mess. But if you back your fabric with either rice paper or tissue paper, it won't make it that much thicker, but it will give it something to glue to. So that's why I'm doing this, in case that's mysterious to anybody. All those many people that are watching this later. Ha ha ha. Okay. I think I could actually, if I did, like Elfstar was saying earlier, if I produced some short and concise and highly educational bookbinding videos for YouTube, I think they could actually get quite a few views, theoretically. But I don't really care. Like, they wouldn't get so many views that I'd actually, you know, get monetized on YouTube or anything, because those numbers are so high that it's really difficult for small creators to make any money on there. But it would be kind of fun to see, you know, I'd probably get some comments and thanks in the comments and all that stuff, and that would be satisfying. So it'd be worthwhile. It's not something I'm gonna do right now, but someday perhaps. Funny thing is, if somebody watched those videos that look all concise and nicely produced, cut out all the dead time, they might think, oh wow, he really knows what he's doing. And then if they came by my live stream, they'd be like, whoa, he's so disorganized and slow. Not that it matters. I actually don't give a rip about that. I'm not that self-conscious, nor do I care about my reputation, but I think it would be funny. They'd be like, whoa, this takes a long time. I didn't get that impression from your video. Okay, so let me grab my ironing board. I need to grab my iron also. So I guess I'll take a quick break and be back in a minute. Okay, this takes a long time. I have to wait for my iron to heat up. I think it has enough water in there, but normally I'd fill it up with water because I use the steam on the fabric. I don't use it anywhere else, but I do use it on the fabric. I do one run before I assemble everything just to make sure this is perfectly flat and doesn't have any creases or wrinkles. This actually looks pretty good, although right here there's kind of a bulge, so I might not even be able to totally flatten this out anyway. Hey, Crypto Baby Groot. Nope, I'm not ending. Did it end? Am I still live? I don't know. Should be live, as far as I know. Oh, I didn't realize I did the thanks for watching. I was trying to do the BRB. I just clicked on the wrong scene. Sorry about that. But yeah, should be back now. Do. This actually feels like it has some kind of weird... I don't know what that is. I hope it's not some kind of plasticky thing. Something that would damage the iron or gum it up. But there's some weird texture on here that I don't know what it is. Okay, turn the steam on. Not quite there yet. I have a really bad back, and I don't actually know which is worse, standing or sitting. Both kind of suck. But I've been standing this whole time. My back feels a little stiff. I'm surprised that's not steaming yet. I guess I can just use it even if it's not steaming. There it goes. Wish I knew what this material was. If it's some kind of plastic, it could really gum up in my iron because I have it on a pretty high heat. But hopefully it actually, like if I had to analyze it just by feel, it actually feels like leather, but I know this is not leather, so I don't know what it is. It's really just one spot, like right here, that I need to focus on that has that slight bulge to it. The rest is not really needing to be any more flat. I think it might actually work better on this side. I don't really see that bulge anymore, so I might have already got it out. The reason I'm kind of being picky about this is I remember this last book I did, which has a very similar fabric, and you can kind of see some kind of line here, and I think it's probably from a similar scenario. Sometimes the fabric has almost permanent markings in it. I don't know what causes that, something in the manufacturing process. But yeah. Thanks for the drink. I'll just assume it's root beer because I actually don't drink beer, but we'll say that that's a root beer. That sounds pretty good. Especially a root beer float. If that's a root beer float, that would be awesome. Groot. Baby Groot beer is what it is. Okay, I think that's good enough. I can turn the steam off. and the heat down a little bit. Next step is to apply the adhesive stuff. So I just line it up on the fabric. I cut it a little bit smaller than the fabric because I don't want the glue to adhere to my ironing board or the iron itself, and so that's what that's all about. That's why I give myself that 1.1 inch around the whole thing, just so I can have all this extra stuff for each little process I do, step that I do. I cut a little bit off, or I lose a little bit of that 1.1 inch. So I need to have about 3/4 inch around all the way when I'm done. So that 1.1 inch, I kind of just figured it gives me enough leeway for all these other steps. Most of it's pretty arbitrary and subjective. Like, I choose to have 3/4 inch. I think it's 3/4 inch, maybe 1/2 inch, whatever. I think it's 3/4 that I use to fold around the edge of the book, or the back side of the book boards. Maybe, I don't know if I'm going to get that far today or not, but I'll get there and you'll see what I'm talking about. But I think 3/4 inch is a good happy medium between reasonable and too much, or not enough. It's just kind of a happy balance. You could go with less, but I think I like 3/4 inch. I do it long enough to feel confident that the hot glue, has melted all the way, across the whole surface. I want to make sure I don't miss the spot, because then it might pull off some of the adhesive onto the backing paper, and so that area won't be properly glued. So I just pretty slowly go over the whole thing a couple times. Probably more than I need to, but just I'd rather do it too long than not long enough. Kind of wish there was some more obvious visual sign. There is a visual sign on the next step. I know kind of when it's done, but this step, it's just somewhat subjective. I'm just listening and watching passively while surfing the internet. Nice. Did you stream earlier, or are you about to stream? Or it's not a streaming day for you? It's pretty calming for a second. Your delivery sort of reminded me of Bob Ross. Yeah, I get that a lot. I used to. Now I got it enough in the early days. I had quite a few people say that. Now I'm kind of the number one person that says that, and I don't really hear that as much, but yeah, I definitely have a boring, monotone delivery and personality. I'm even more boring in real life, believe it or not. Okay. That should be long enough. And then I have found through experience that it helps to kind of fan it off so it's not super hot. It pulls off a little bit easier once it's cooled down slightly. I hope I did it long enough. I kind of feel like I didn't do it very long, but the next step, the last step of these gluing, takes the longest, so I'll make sure to do that long enough. So I'm just fanning this off, using the airflow to cool it off faster, otherwise I just have to sit and wait. And then I just pick a corner, any corner, it doesn't matter, whichever one comes off the nicest. And I always pull it off in a diagonal so it doesn't pull up the edge with it. No streaming for me, just a mellow night. Nice. Well, that's pretty cool of you to actually go around and watch streams. I used to do that all the time and I really don't do it much. I don't do it hardly at all anymore. I've kind of backed off almost entirely of my stream watching. Makes me feel kind of selfish because I used to be all big about community and spending time in other people's streams, and I got a lot more viewers back when I did that. But I don't know. I don't do it as much. Just being honest. Occasionally, but it's kind of a rare thing now. A big part of it that changed for me is that there's very few streamers from the old days that I still know and connect with. So there are a few, but there's so few that the chances of somebody being online when I happen to look is so slim that it gets kind of old to even look. It's sort of like one of those, those habit clicks where you just open 2 or 3 apps every time you turn your phone on. Like you turn your screen on, check Facebook, check Instagram, check YouTube, whatever your pet apps are. I think we all do that. But if there's nothing to look at, like 90% of the time you click, you start questioning your own sanity and your mental health. You're like, these tech companies have trained me, like I'm brainwashed. I have to click, click, even if there's nothing there that I actually enjoy. And so I'm very introspective that way, and I don't like noticing those patterns in me. So when there's not much to do and it's just kind of boring, I'd rather just not do it. So my pet apps that I used to click on every time I opened my phone used to be DLive, Kick, and occasionally Rumble, although I almost never watch people on Rumble. But now I literally don't open any of those 3 almost ever, just because it's so rare that anyone on my follower list is online. And I used to like kind of scroll down and look for new streamers to add to my list and stuff, but I don't know, I really don't do that anymore, because that feels like a waste of time too. And then I end up seeing people that I really just don't want to see. I know that sounds mean, but there's a certain type of streamer culture that I don't appreciate, and it's kind of a large percentage of the culture. Since I'm an old-fashioned guy, perhaps you can deduce what I'm talking about. So I just try to avoid most of streamer culture, and so it's really hard for me to like find the diamonds in the rough, and so I don't spend much time looking for them anymore. I used to, but I have other things I'd rather spend my time on these days. Anyway, and I'm just blabbing, but I figure it's better to talk about something to dead air than not at all, I suppose. Funny thing is, I think for me to have actually a big following, I need to find the people that like to watch paint dry. Because, I mean, look at what I'm doing. Like, seriously? Nobody wants to watch this. This part takes a really long time. I basically wait until I can see a fair definition outline of the fabric and even some of the colors showing through. That's how I know I've done it long enough, and it takes quite a long time. So I just find like stuff like this, it's nice to slow down and just do an artistic process. Yeah, I like doing it, Like, I absolutely love doing it. It's very, the best word I can think of is zen, because that's kind of in our zeitgeist these days, and everybody knows what that means. It's very zen. But as far as watching it, it's pretty boring. Yeah, I don't know very many people that just want to watch an iron moving at 0.005 miles per hour on a paper. But I do encourage people, I wish there was more people interested in doing it, because it would be kind of fun just to have somebody, you know, probably some old lady, to be honest, if I'm guessing who the demographic would be. Some old lady, a retired lady in her house, buys the supplies and just wants to learn, so they sit and watch and they ask questions like, okay, I did that, what's next, you know, that kind of thing. I've always thought that would be fun, but literally in 6 years of doing this, I have not had one single person even ask questions about stuff, much less decide like they're going to get into it and ask about the process. Nope, not a once. The elusive iron. Indeed. For some reason the last part always seems to take the longest. I don't know, I guess if I had a scientific theory on it, I would say that the heat from the iron is being absorbed by the substrate being the material, fabric, paper. And so the longer I do it, the less energy is stored in the iron, so it's not as hot as it was on the very first touchdown. That's my theory. I don't know if that's anything, but like this part didn't take this side over here didn't take very long, and it got fully cooked, baked, whatever. And then this last part always feels like it takes an eternity. You're just sitting there holding it for 2 minutes and it doesn't seem to want to melt fully. I think that's kind of true, but also the other factor is I have it up at a higher heat to start when I'm doing the other steps, and I turn it down a little bit because I don't want it to be too harsh, and so that initial boost of heat is gathered up by the paper, and then the rest takes longer. I think that's probably a combination of those two scientific principles why it seems to take the last part longer. And they're kind of one and the same, just two different ways to say the same thing. This time I got tiny little bubbles, and I don't normally see that. I don't think it really matters that much, but yeah, it's not something I'm used to seeing. I could like probably poke those with a needle or something if it bothered me, but I don't think it matters. Okay, I'm gonna leave that there for a second. That's the weakest area. Crazy how strong pops and clicks are for mics. Like, just tap this and it like maxes out my mic instantly. Okay, that's good. Good enough. Just gotta make sure to deal with your iron very safely. Watch what's around it. I think it was Peter No-Tail. If I remember, I think it was the movie Peter No-Tail when I was a kid. The cats, and I think the cat saved the house or the people in it or something by seeing a fire, and I think it was started by an iron. So ever since I watched that movie from a kid, I knew that I had to be very careful around a hot iron. Just been one of those things I'm conscious of. Okay. I could be wrong on the movie, but it's one of those kids' movies. I think it's a cartoon or something, and yeah. Cat saves the day. Okay. Now my goal is to get everything centered, if possible. Happy streaming, thank you. Seek steeple. 6T pour. Is that what it is? 6T pour. Okay. Now I need to double check everything because I don't remember. This goes there. Let's see, this goes here. That goes there. That goes there. That goes there. In this case, it doesn't matter. I shouldn't be bothered to put that, but I mainly just want to mark the center of this design as closely as I can. Got this arrow to mark. I have 14.25, so 7.1 approximately is where the center is. Right about there. So that's where I want these to fall ideally. Just gonna mark it there so I can see through the backside on the paper. Yeah, 64. Nice. Okay. 64 your age, or is that you're like really into Nintendo 64, or you're running on a Windows 64-bit processor? I'm pretty sure it's one of those options. Okay, so now we can see this line on the back finally, which I should have done that in the beginning, so I could have. No, I couldn't have done that because I didn't have this paper on there. Never mind. Never mind. Okay. Doesn't really matter, but I could make a decision on which side I want to have on the front versus the back. I don't really care. I think I'll put this on the non-flap side. Something tells me to do it that way. It doesn't really matter, but. You just like that number? Nice. Noise. So, like if my favorite number is 7. So if I was typing in chat to follow that pattern, I should just like arbitrarily put the number 7, like at the end of. Not all my messages, but just like one of them. One message per chat session says, "Hey, how's it going? 7." Right, so this is the approximate center of this board. So we're just gonna more or less match up those two lines, which, to be honest, doesn't leave me much down here, but hopefully it's enough. That doesn't have to be perfect. That's pretty close. Oh man, I need more on this side. Okay, there we go. And I'm going to use this to line it up. Should be good. And the only other thing I could check is see if these are about the same distance on either side. Just trying to line it up with the pattern so the pattern of the fabric doesn't like look slanted, I guess. 1.25, this is, oh, that's a big difference. It's like 2. And I used to be able to eyeball things and see when they're off. I don't know what's, I guess my abilities are waning. It's kind of discouraging. I used to be able to see things like half a millimeter of variance just visually. You could just see it, you could spot it. Not today, not anymore. I don't know what's wrong with me. I should have seen that. But there's certain contexts where I'm more sensitive. I think in certain steps of the process I can spot errors just like looking at them without even measuring it, but apparently not this one. That's one. Oh no, I pushed too hard and I just moved the whole entire thing. That's garbage. Start over. That's part of the reason I want these metal things, like really, like thicker metal, like a couple millimeters thick at least. Never understood the metal measurements. They usually measure it in gauges, I think, like 16 gauge, 12 gauge, 24 gauge. I have no idea what that means. Okay, now I have I think it's a 3/4 inch jig or piece somewhere. I may not be able to find it because oh, here it is. Yeah, my desk is in a pretty big disarray. I really wish I had the red pen. I don't know where it went. I might have actually accidentally put it in my daily carry journaling bag. That's a pretty good theory actually, because I have a bunch of pens that I use on my sketchbook stream that resemble this one. They're all black, so I probably grabbed it and put it in with those. So I'm gonna go check my sketching bag. I think there's a pretty good chance it's in there. Yeah, the problem is I don't know if it actually has a red cap on it. If it doesn't, then I probably have to pull out every single pen to find it. Let's see if this one has a blue cap, so which means that one should have a red cap. In that case, it's not likely I put it in here because I think I would have noticed that right away. I would have seen the red and knew it didn't belong. It was a good idea though. It was a good theory, but yeah, I don't think it's in here. I think it's actually literally on my desk somewhere, but I don't know. I've gotten really bad at spotting things. Sometimes it's literally right in front of my face, or I've even done the "where's my keys" and it's in my hand thing before, like more than once. So it's probably not that hidden. I just can't seem to spot objects as well as I used to. Or I don't think I was ever really good at that. But I've definitely gotten progressively worse. It's also possible, I kind of threw some things around in the beginning of my stream to just make some space. I might have actually picked it up and thrown it out somewhere else. So yeah, the reason I like the red one is that for some reason red tends to stand out a little bit better against various fabric backgrounds and the paper and stuff. Doesn't matter that much. It's also kind of a nostalgic attachment because I've been using that same pen all these years. Part of me wants to refuse to carry on until I find it, but I'm not that stubborn. I can use this one. Okay, we barely have 3/4 of an inch left here, so that's, I cut it really close. barely have enough here either. I don't know what my problem is. Used to be better at figuring out how much extra to have. It seems like I didn't do well this time, but it's enough. It's just, well, this side isn't really. I'll have to cut it a little bit tight. I made this special jig that matches the curve and is 3/4, so I can use it to trace this side. Anytime you can make a jig for your craft or your hobby, it almost always saves a surprising amount of time. So jigs are your friends. Make an absurd amount of them. Like, when in doubt, make a jig. It'll help. Look how not centered that is though. Like, here's the true center, and then there's all this extra up here, and there's no extra down here at the bottom. So that's not necessarily my fault though. That's just where that pattern happened to be, I think, on the edge. Okay, so now I have all the lines I need to do my final cut, and then we have the fabric that I will use to cover the book, and we can maybe actually finish the book tonight, more or less. There's always a few final steps that I have to do later, but might actually kind of finish a cover tonight. It's so annoying that takes so long. Like, I envision myself like working on multiple books, you know, like, okay, finish one, go to the next, but it takes so long that realistically I should never expect to do more than one in a stream. The cover is the most labor-intense and long process of everything. It used to be, and it kind of still is, that I don't really like doing covers because they take too long and they're so complicated. And so I have like over 100 books that I've started, but I don't finish them because I don't really like doing this part. It's just too much work. But happens to me too. Hard to find what you're looking for, and you'll find it later if you don't need it anymore. I know, so annoying. I think it happens to everybody, but some people are like super organized and they have like shelves or special cases that they put everything away between work sessions. I don't do that. I do have, I mean, I can't really show it easily. I guess I can kind of show it just for anybody that's curious. I do have this on a mechanical arm, so I can move it. I have this like actual tool set thing that's on a Lazy Susan, so I can put some of my stuff in here and be like all organized and stuff. But generally speaking, I'm just like, look at how all this mess everywhere. It's a pretty big disaster. But oh well. I'm not ashamed. I'm the way I am, and I don't really care to reform myself at my advanced age. I know I'm not gonna get any better at this point. I'm not really that organized. I have the capability to be like almost OCD organized if I want to be, but the problem is I don't really care anymore. I don't want to be organized. I'm a very what's the word? Pragmatic person. So the only way I could convince myself to do it is if it was like actually logical and useful, which there is a use to it. In some respects I could find things faster, but there's also the time aspect of it. Every time you use the stuff, you have to put it away, take it out. That time is wasted. So I'd rather just leave the tools out on my desk for the next time I use them. And in theory, I should know where they are because I just used them. But the older I get, the less memory I have where things are located. So it probably, when I was younger, the whole disorganized thing was more logical. But as I get older, because my memory's failing, it probably would make sense to be more organized so that I don't have to hunt for things. And I genuinely remembered before. I think it's actually kind of recent that this has all changed. I think my brain is shutting down, honestly, in a real significant way. It feels very noticeable change. But it used to be, even though this is a huge mess like I just showed, I knew where every object was in that mess because I used it recently, and I'm like, oh, I remember where I put that pen or that ruler or that knife or whatever. I've lost it. Like, I don't have that ability anymore, so I'm constantly hunting for things. It's frustrating. I mean, it happens to everybody when you get old, but normally it's a gradual process over like decades, and I think it's kind of just happened to me in the last year or 2 years maybe. I think it's either my health is kind of taking a dump or something's wrong with me. Because it's a notable change. It's not just the gradual aging process, it's just like kind of all of a sudden, I mean, I feel like I'm almost on the verge of losing my ability to speak. I mean, it's just stuttering all the time and can't remember words. That part has been a little bit more gradual, though. I mean, I was never really a good speaker or anything, but I feel like my vocabulary is just like dying all of a sudden. I could probably use some kind of brain exercises or something, but chances of me actually doing that kind of stuff are pretty slim. I did used to play the piano, though, and I've heard that that's pretty good for your memory and your brain and stuff, so probably if I got back into that, it might help a little bit. But I think, to be honest, I think my issues are more related to eating and sleeping and the lack thereof. I can't even see the line. I hope I didn't move the ruler. I actually kind of want to invent more tools, even though this is not a profitable hobby. I wish I had a tool, for example, that somehow, I don't even think it's possible, but somehow kept this ruler in position. Like, I could keep this end of it in position because it's on the edge of the desk, and I could have a vice grip thing holding it. But even if you hold this end with 600 tons of force, this side can still rotate. Like, you'd be surprised how much force it requires. So you really need a clamp on both sides. This side is not near the edge, so unless you use like a rare earth magnet that's so powerful that it like is magneto in the flesh, and have another on the bottom, I don't know how to like hold that in position, unfortunately, but it would be nice. I'm sure there's some ingenious way to accomplish that, but you could have like stuff on your desk somewhere that has little notches that, you know, the ruler connects to or something, I suppose, but that's starting to get a little bit too complicated, over-engineered, I think. Okay, so on this side, I'm actually going to use the line as a guide, but I need to cut in a little bit because I'm not quite into where it has the glued stuff. I'll just fudge it a little bit by cutting off a little extra. I could use the roller on the curved cuts, but it's pretty difficult when the fabric is thick like this. So it's just easier to use scissors. Alright, there's my completed piece of book cloth. So you can do this with any fabric pretty much, as long as it's not like total plastic, because if it's like plastic then it'll melt when you try to iron it. Some plastic is kind of heat resistant or has a high enough melting temperature, but just got to be conscious of that. But otherwise, you can literally go to the fabric store and buy pretty much any fabric and use it for books by backing it with the paper, which is really thin paper. It makes it nice and stiff, and it allows you to do all the measuring and gluing and cutting. So, yep, there's my piece of book cloth. Okay. And this is not something I invented. I actually learned this from YouTube. Some of the tricks that I use, I've made up myself. Like, nobody taught me most of this stuff. Like all these jigs and measuring methods and various things I just kind of came up with on the fly. Oh, I made a mistake. It's not crucial, but I should have, while I had that in place, I should have marked the edges of everything. And it's been too long since I've done this. I don't remember ever making that mistake before, but maybe I have. It's an easy mistake to fix. I just line this up to the edge and get this back where it should be. That's close enough. No harm, no foul. I'm really annoyed that I don't have my favorite red pen. It's probably here somewhere. I feel like looking for it for 6 hours, but if I wasn't live streaming, I probably would do that because I'm pretty annoyed that it's not here, but searching for a pen for 6 hours while live streaming is not optimal content. It's my one piece of advice for live streamers out there trying to get started. Don't search for pens for 6 hours. Now I've lost the blue one. Oh, there it is. Okay. So I just mark all the corners of each piece so that when I'm gluing it later, I know where they go and I don't have to. I mean, the glue dries very fast and it's kind of a almost panic-inducing moment. So it's pretty important to have these corners marked so I know where to put the various pieces down. And having the paper backing is also very handy for this because it's pretty much difficult to impossible to draw on most fabrics. It's really hard. Okay, hopefully I didn't miss anything. And I'm going to try to keep these in their proper orientation. It'd be nice to have a little more desk space. Feeling drained and tired. I had a very emotional day last 2 days, and guess that took a lot out of me. Actually, I don't need that. I was thinking I needed that, but I don't. What do I need? I don't think I need any jigs right now. I think I'm going to try to sit down too. My feet are getting kind of tired of standing. Okay, so next step. This is kind of optional. It's not, there's no rule about it, and I haven't even fully decided what I like to do, but it would be easier if I had, I'm pretty sure this has mold in it because it's been sitting here for 3 months. You can see like this. I mean, you can't on the stream easily unless I tip this and dump it all over my desk, but there's like this stuff in there. It looks like spider webs, but I'm pretty sure that's mold. So I'm probably going to throw that out. Unfortunately, I should, once I've made some, I wish I could just stick with it and do a bunch of bookbinding, because I always end up throwing a lot of this out. It's not expensive or anything, but it's just feels like a waste. You know, maybe you can see it in there. Yeah, there's some definite mold in there. It's been sitting here too long. I always like have this hope that, you know, covering the top with thick saran wrap will prevent that, but it's amazing how mold gets in everything, and all it takes is a single microscopic spore and it'll multiply and grow. So yeah, I'm gonna throw this out. I guess I might make some, I'm not sure, but I'm gonna take a quick break and throw this out, and then I'll decide whether I'm gonna make some more or not. I don't like doing it because technically it takes time. Like ideally I would actually let it sit overnight, so I can't really make it and use it instantly. It's kind of like Jello. You have to make it and then use it hours or a day later. Anyway, I'll be right back. Do the right BRB screen instead of thanks for watching this time. Okay, well, still haven't decided if I want to make stuff today and wash this out. One thing I was actually just realizing, I may have thought of this before, but I could probably put some kind of chemical in this, possibly ammonia or something else. When I make methyl cellulose sizing for paper marbling, you actually usually put ammonia in it. I don't know. I think I used to know. It's been so long. It's been many years since I've done it. My guess is it could be related to mold like prevention, but there could be other properties of ammonia that help something else, but I can't remember what the purpose of that is. But I was just realizing maybe I could put a tiny bit of ammonia or some other chemical in here that would prevent or lengthen the time it takes for mold to grow in it. I don't know, but either way, I don't really want to make more right now, but I guess I will. And I also have to, as always, find my notes because I don't remember. Let's see. 1/4 tablespoon for 1/2 cup. I hate American units. They're so stupid. This doesn't have cups on it, so I have to know how many ounces is a cup. I think it's 4 ounces maybe. Or how many tablespoons in a cup. I don't know any of that stuff. I don't think any Americans do. Like, only master chefs have any idea what the stupid American system is. How to do volume measurements. It's absurd. It's the thing for AI. A cup is 8 ounces, so a 1/2 cup is 4. Okay, that's kind of what I thought, but it's one of those things that I don't really have memorized. It's just the only reason I even know that at all is because I've done this before, and I think it was kind of halfway in my memory, just barely. Okay. Yeah. Ask most people how many tablespoons in a cup or in a quart or anything like that. I bet vast majority don't have a clue. And how many teaspoons in a tablespoon? I think it's 3, but it's stupid. Like, it's not even 2 or 4. I think it's 3. It's the worst. It's the dumbest measuring system on the planet by far. Same with inches and feet. 12 inches in a foot, 3 in a yard, 5,280 feet in a mile, I think. Not even sure about that. That's so random. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. It's so stupid. Okay, yeah, so it's 1/4 tablespoon, but this is 1/2 teaspoon. So do the math. It's impossible. That is ridiculous math. This is 1/2 teaspoon. I need 1/4 tablespoon. I have no idea. Literally no clue how much that would be in teaspoons. Let's see. Let's convert 1/4 tablespoon to teaspoons. I have no clue. I don't think there's not one American in a million. There's probably 200 people in the US that can know what the answer to that question is off top of their head. Okay, so let's see. And then there's teaspoon imperial and teaspoon US. That's absurd. Are you kidding me? I don't even know. It's probably not that much difference between them, to be honest, but okay, so I need to know how many So I'm starting with 0.25 tablespoons, right? Let's see. Yeah, 0.25 tablespoons. I need to know how many teaspoons that is. Okay, 3/4 of a teaspoon. That should have been not that hard, because if I actually was correct that it's 3 teaspoons for tablespoons, although that was a guess. I didn't actually know for sure. So I could have just done 3 times 0.25 if my brain would have been working properly, but chances of my brain working is slim. Blah blah, test. Okay, my microphone's a little bit low today, but sometimes when I'm really not emotional, but like there's more people here and I'm kind of fired up or just whatever, I talk a little loud, so I try to keep my mic levels down so it doesn't max out. But then when I'm more mellow like I am today, it's probably a little bit too low. I think I could probably get away with half a teaspoon. It's not that... Oh, wait a minute, no. Okay. Interesting. I was going to do that wrong completely. So we need 3/4 of a teaspoon, and this is half, so... I'm actually... I don't know, I'm not sure, but I wouldn't be surprised if half a teaspoon is fine, because I think I've had it where it's too thick before anyway. And I've been sort of wanting to readjust that recipe for this stuff. I think I'm gonna actually start with half a teaspoon, because if it was half a teaspoon, then I could just use that little scoop every time. It'd be I wouldn't have to do any calculations. I would just know that one of these per one of these. But so I'm gonna try that. That would be convenient. I have the feeling that will be an acceptable amount. I usually try to use distilled water too, and that might be part of the mold issue. Like tap water probably is more likely to have just singular mold spores in it, but I don't buy distilled water these days much, so I'll just use tap water and hope for the best. Our tap water is pretty good here. It's like well water and whatnot, but you know, it's certainly not pure 100%. I have a good feeling about this, though. I have a bad feeling about this, except that it's good. I think that this recipe might work just fine. And I just had my popsicle sticks. Oh, there they are. These make really handy stirrers and stuff for this kind of stuff. Very cheap and accessible. And so one of the annoying things about methyl cellulose paste is you have to constantly stir it for actually a pretty long time. It's kind of like super glue. You have to hold it, you know, pinch the thing in your fingers for a fair amount of time before releasing it if you don't want it to fall apart. It's kind of like that with this. Like if I don't continually stir it for quite a while, it'll separate and make kind of like jello blobs at the bottom or top. I don't know if it floats or not, but you'll have, I think it sinks. You have the chunk of jello blob at the bottom and then just liquid on the top. So you really have to keep stirring it. That's kind of part of the reason I don't like to do it on stream, because I just have to, once I've committed to it, I have to do this for quite a while. But once I've done it for a certain amount of time, I just keep it in view and try to remember to stir it every few minutes. And it takes a while to set up, maybe like an hour, I don't know. I don't remember how long. So that's the thing, like I kind of need it now. Like the next step, I'm gonna glue these and glue them to here, and this is what I'm making this stuff for. So it's almost like I have to wait quite a while before I should use it. So it kind of puts the whole process on hold. So that's the main reason I like to have it already prepared. But unfortunately, I have it already prepared, and if I wait too long, then it has mold in it. So it's sort of a catch-22. And I don't know how long I'll stream either, because I might have to actually end the stream on a cliffhanger or something, because I'm probably not going to have the patience to just sit here and stir this for a half hour on stream. Nor would I want to put you through that if there's anybody here. Plus, I'm sort of feeling like I want to eat something. So I might go grab food and end the stream and possibly come back later or something if I still feel like live streaming. Excuse me. This is pretty tedious. And I'm not even 100% certain that this will be the right amount of the powder stuff. I think it will be. I think it'll be fine. I probably I could have done like a slightly heaping spoon too, and that would be fine. It would just be really convenient if it's exactly one of those quarter teaspoon or whatever it was. Or, wait, what was that again? Now I'm rethinking everything. Half teaspoon, okay, yeah. That's good. It'd be really convenient if this half teaspoon was the right amount, because then I would write in my notes half teaspoon per 4 ounces of water, and if I remember that this is the right size, all I have to do is it's a 1-to-1 thing. One of these, one of those. That's super easy to remember. I mean, not in my old man state, but in theory it should be easy to remember. 1, 1, 1, 1. Super simple. It's funny because I only mix this glue like once every 6 months or some crazy long period, so I never remember. I always have to look it up. Which makes me feel really stupid, like I have the worst memory on earth, which I think might be true pretty soon. There's a certain period, I don't know how long it is, but there's a certain period of time where it just sort of starts hardening. It's very similar to Jello. Starts out as total liquid, and then both temperature take a toll and probably some chemical reaction. I don't really know much about it, to be honest. It's probably a combination of a chemical reaction and temperature. Once it cools down and does its magic, it gets very thick. It's similar to Jello, similar to cornstarch. In fact, when I first learned about methylcellulose paste or powder, it's kind of gross, but when I researched it at the time, years ago, I found out they use it in food. And one of the examples that the article that I read gave was that McDonald's milkshakes used it. And that might not be true anymore, but according to that article I read, this methylcellulose powder is actually used in foods like that, just to thicken it up. And you kind of notice that. I mean, I don't know if it's this or not, but it's some chemical in there that even when the milkshake kind of melts, it's not quite as runny as you would expect. But it probably does have some nasty chemical in there like that. I don't know. And plus, the whole thing is fake. Like, there's probably hardly any real ice cream or milk in the thing. It's just a bunch of chemicals. Hey, Chance. Thanks for the ice creams and lemons. Appreciate it. I don't know if I've talked to you before. Your handle's not, or your name is not ringing a bell. But I appreciate you dropping by the stream. I'm doing the most interesting possible thing you can imagine. I'm mixing glue, basically. I'm making my own glue. And in the larger scene or the larger context, I'm doing bookbinding, but this is one of the tedious steps of that process. Honestly, I don't even know if you can buy methylcellulose paste like already made. If you could, it would probably not have the longest shelf life, so it's actually better to make it yourself. But it is tedious, that's for sure. It's not really thickening up yet. I can tell that it's thicker than it was when it started, but I'll have to make a decision at some point whether my modified recipe is enough of the powder or not. But I think it's going to take a while to figure that out. So yeah, once again, I either sit and do this for a long time or end the stream and come back. I'm kind of leaning towards ending the stream and doing this. I'll just be sitting here doing this off stream. I could just keep the stream going if somebody was wanting to just chat, but since my chat is usually dead, it feels like cruel to do something like this on stream. Because if there's people chatting, then that is the content. I've always felt that way. Like, chatting is the best content in reality. So if you don't have any viewers to chat with, the live stream experience is pretty dull. So chatters are the streamer's best content. But yeah, I'm kind of leaning towards ending the stream, grabbing some food, mixing the glue, yay, fun times, and then when it's ready to use, I can start again. So I should probably do that. Just so I don't torture my viewers, the very few that I have, if there's any. So yeah, I'll do that. Appreciate anybody that dropped by or joining, lurking, watching this later. Sorry it's so boring. I don't even care if it's boring anymore, honestly. I know pretty much everything I do is pretty boring, but yep, I will catch you all later. I'll probably be on again tonight, like, because I do want to at least finish this book that I'm working on, so I can feel like I've accomplished something. So I'll probably do that. So I'll be back maybe in an hour. I don't know how long exactly, but something like that. Unless I might just run out of steam. I might just like suddenly expire and get super tired. In that case, I wouldn't come back. So nobody should sit around and set a timer or wait for me, because there's always a chance that I don't come back. So anyway, I will catch you all later. Thanks for joining me. Hopefully no one chatted on Rumble. I just realized I never popped out the chat. I haven't gotten chatters on Rumble in ages, so I doubt it. But anyway, we'll see you all later.